Hello, I'm here in Darug country, New South Wales, Australia, so that together we can celebrate World Storytelling Day. Before I begin, I'd like to pay my respects to the elders of this place, the Darug, the tradition bearers who's kept stories and songs alive in the past and in the present day, and long may that continue. I'd like to extend that respect and thanks to the people of Kazakhstan and the tradition bearers who have kept this story alive through hundreds of years. The story I'm bringing to you today is called the Aksak Kulan, or the Lame Kulan. One glorious morning, Jochi, the son of the great Khan of the Golden Horde, decided that he was going to go out hunting. But he didn't go out alone. He had a whole entourage of people who just wanted to be with him wherever he was, whatever he was doing. He was so strong, so full of vitality and confidence, they just wanted to gather round him. So together they all set off on their horses and rode across the great steppes of Kazakhstan. It was Jochi who saw their quarry first. There in the distance, in the long grasses, was a herd of Kulan. It was remarkable that he spotted them at all. Their sandy brown coats of fur mingled so well with those long grasses. The others thought there was no way that they were going to catch up to the herd. They might be smaller than horses, but they run just as fast. But Jochi was determined. And off he set at a gallop. Everybody tried to keep pace, but one by one, as the hooves of their horses thundered across the steppes, they fell behind. But Jochi rode on, galloping on his swift steed, getting closer and closer and closer. He took out his bow and arrow from horseback and started letting loose his arrows. And one after another, they found their mark. The young of the Kulan were falling first, and then the mares. But in an instant, it all changed. The leader of this herd was known as the Aksak Kulan. This Lame Kulan had survived many things, including attacks from wolves, and without regard for his own safety, in that one moment, instead of fleeing from Jochi, he turned and he ran directly towards him. Jochi's horse was taken completely by surprise and shied up. Jochi flew into the air and landed with a crack on the dirt of the steppes. The herd fled into the distance, and Jochi's horse wandered alone. His companions found first his horse, and then Jochi, lying in the dirt, his neck broken, his life gone. With sorrow filling their hearts, they made their way back home. But as they approached, the sorrow mingled with a looming dread. For who amongst them was brave enough to tell the great Khan what had happened? When they stood before him, not one of them had the nerve to utter a word. "Speak," said the great Khan. For he was no fool. He knew something terrible had befallen his son. "Speak! But know this," he said. "If one amongst you brings me news that I do not wish to hear, I will have my soldiers seize him and pour molten metal into the mouth that spoke the words." And now they were all stuck. Or what was worse, to meet this terrible fate by speaking words of truth, or to disobey a direct command from the great Khan of the Golden Horde himself, and meet perhaps a fate even worse. As they stood there stuck, someone stepped forward. Not a soldier, not a hunter, but a musician who knew what had happened. and without saying anything, he took out his dombra. A dombra is an instrument of the lute family with a long, thin neck and a wooden body shaped like a pear that's been cut in half. This musical instrument is such a strong tradition in Kazakhstan, it's said to contain the soul of the Kazakh people. And without saying anything, he started to pluck the two long strings that stretched across the instrument. And he played a song with such skill and such intensity, it was as if he was weaving a spell with his music. For all who heard saw in their mind's eye the story of the day. They saw the glorious morning and this strong, energetic, confident young man. They saw the speed of the chase across the steppes, the frightened Kulan, the Aksak Kulan, as he turned and attacked, the shying of that swift, frightened horse, and the death of Jochi. And as the final notes of the sorrow in the hearts of all who knew him faded into quiet, the great Khan spoke again. Soldiers, seize him and bring forth the molten metal. But no, for he hadn't spoken a word. It was the dombra that had played the story. And as the terrible fury in the heart of the great Khan now joined with terrible grief, he knew that it was true. The man had not spoken a word. So when the molten metal was brought forth, the dombra was held up, and the metal was poured into the sound hole in its face, silencing it forever. But while you might be able to silence one instrument, the soul of the Kazakh people goes on. To this day in Kazakhstan, dombyra are played across the country. This story is still told. The music for this story is still played. You might be able to silence one, but you cannot silence the soul of a people. The story continues, the song goes on, and long may it do so.